Hello, this is Dr. Janice, our love, and thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. Have you ever experienced what they call female problems when it comes to your hormones? Has a hormone imbalance caused you to simply lose your groove? Well, stay tuned. We will be speaking with Dr. Malaika Woods, who is a functional medicine specialist, about the three secrets to hormone balance that every woman should know so that you can get your groove back. Stay tuned. Here we go.
So let us go ahead and get started. Once again, you are here for asking for a sister friend. And tonight we are going to be talking about how to get your groove back. Three secrets to hormone balance every woman should know. So, obviously, if we're going to be talking about how to get our groove back and we're going to be talking about hormones, we need to have another doctor in the house besides me for sure. So, let me introduce you to Dr. Malaika Woods, who loves to encourage her patients with this idea. The human body is divinely designed and has the great capacity to heal itself. We just need to know how to fuel the body with what it needs. So she is dually board certified in the American Board of Obesity Medicine, as well as the American Board of Obstetrics and Gynecology, OBGYN, y'all. Okay. She is also a certified practitioner with the Institute for Functional Medicine, and she has certifications in bioidentical hormone replacement therapy for men and women. So, men, you might get something out of this as well. In addition to running her own independent practice, she also coaches other physicians and practitioners on starting and growing their independent practices. And we're going to be talking a little bit about why she is doing her own independent practice with what she is doing. So, let me tell you this about her. She loves to sing. She sings gospel music, and she's been a choir director at some point. So I have to laugh because it's just amazing the wonderful skill set that you have. She's been a wedding singer. She will sing for her friends. I missed out on that. But anyway, she loves spending time with her wonderful family, which is her husband, daughter, and son. And she loves spending time with her friends as well. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret about her because I got excited about this myself. She wants to write a fiction book that turns into a blockbuster movie. And she's promised me that if it turns into a movie, she's going to let me star in it. But anyway, welcome to the stage, everybody, Dr. Malaika Woods.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Janice. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, you have. We met way back when you were in medical school,
Yes,
long
yes.
time ago when I first moved to the Kansas City area, and we were doing research together.
That's right. That's right. Kick it at Swope.
Yes, yes, we were helping people quit smoking, and you graduated and you moved on, and I think I could reconnected with you maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. I can't even remember,
Hmm.
but I connected with you when I heard about the wonderful things that you're doing. So your private practice is called Woods Wellness, and tell me what that encompasses.
Absolutely. So, in my practice, Dr. Woods Wellness, which I actually celebrated 12 years, thank the Lord for that.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so functional medicine is really the umbrella under which I do a lot of different things. For those who haven't heard, functional medicine, sometimes you may have heard the word integrative medicine, but it's really about root causes and natural solutions. That's kind of the best way I can summarize it. And I left my group 12 years ago because I wanted to do something different. And I'll just kind of tell you briefly about my journey, if that's okay.
Yes,
So I
please.
was about a year out from having my second kid. I was a full-time OB-GYN, supposed to be in my dream job. I
Mhm.
was stressed, seeing 30, 40 people a day. I was almost 240 pounds. Like I needed to do something different in my career. I needed to do something different with my health. And so that took me on this journey. And the first part of that journey was I started losing weight. I also got board certified in obesity medicine, which is non-surgical weight loss. Then I learned about bioidentical hormones, left the group and started offering that. People were getting better. And then I learned about functional medicine, this root cause. And I felt like that just kind of blew my mind, Janice. I felt like this missing piece that people needed. And that's when I started saying, like, our bodies really are divinely designed and have a great capacity to heal. And in the course of that first couple of years, I also lost 60 pounds. So I just went through an entire transition personally in my health and also with my medical practice.
Wow. So inquiring minds want to know, what specifically did you really do to lose that weight?
That's a great question. I kind of explained it. I did it in 20-pound blocks.
Okay.
So the first 20 pounds, I had learned this new weight loss program where you only drank shakes. I don't recommend this now, but I literally drank 5 shakes a day, no food. And I did that. I may have kept it up for about 6 weeks. And if it's okay to be completely honest, I had horrible constipation. I was like, okay, I can't do it because it was just protein. That's all I had. But I lost 20 pounds. So I had to give that up. Then I went into like really exercising. That's when P90X was really popular.
Yeah.
So my husband and I did P90X and we did that together, which was great bonding. Sometimes we called it something different because we're talking about getting your groove back. Can I be a little bit frank there? So we would joke P90X, P90SE, you know.
Okay.
Like you get motivated with each other. And then that was 20 pounds. And then the last 20 pounds is when I started implementing some of the functional medicine principles, started eating cleaner and eating healthier. So that equated to the 60 pounds.
Okay. So when you are working with a client who is dealing with the same kinds of issues, you fully understand what they're going through, for sure.
Absolutely. I know it from a very personal standpoint.
And so tell me the types of symptoms that sometimes bring women to, or even men, to your facilities.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things is that women feel like something is off. So sometimes it's hard for them to really put a pin on it. But some of the things they may feel is that they're tired. They may feel more irritable. They may notice that they've got this stubborn belly fat that wasn't ever there before. Like I literally have women come in and just grab the middle and say, this was not here. I don't know what happened. Right. I don't know what happened in the last 18 months, you know? They're experiencing that. Their libido is down. And a lot of times they go to their traditional doctor and they give them all these symptoms and they're like, you know, you're just going through the change. It's just part of life. But they're left feeling that there's nothing that they can do about it. And so that's usually when they come to me, when they've been dissatisfied with those other answers. And they really feel like, hey, there's got to be something that I can do. So the people who come to see me, Janice, I call them the true health seekers because they are out there looking for answers. They are not taking no for an answer.
I remember when we first reconnected and I was hearing about some of the things that you were talking about whenever you were talking about some of the services you provided. And you talked a lot about thyroid hormones.
Yes.
And as you know, I had my thyroid neutralized several years ago. But the things that I was dealing with was I was literally having hot flashes. I was having heart palpitations. My food was literally going straight through me within 30 minutes of me eating. And I felt like I wanted to hurt people. So not only did it have physical symptoms, I was impatient, I was anxious, and again, my temper just got out of control. And I went to explain this to the doctor, and again, they were like, "Well, maybe you're going through the change." And I didn't really think it was quite time for me to be going through the change. And so the first thing they wanted to do was to put me on some medication, and they didn't even know what was going on with me. They were maybe just trying to treat the symptoms, and I wanted to know what was causing it to fix it.
Absolutely. And yeah, that takes me to another point. Like there are some things that I call menopause pretenders. So there are other things that are going on in your body that you might think it's menopause, but it's something else.
Okay.
Definitely thyroid is a big one because all of the symptoms you just named that were related to your thyroid, sometimes they're related to your hormones. And so that's why I think it's so important that you start out by getting a comprehensive lab
Mhm.
panel. We call it a functional health report. So you can really see what's going on with you. So you don't have to guess. And unfortunately, a lot of traditional doctors, they don't even want to check your hormone levels. And so you end up
Mm.
with, getting offered some medication that you think you don't need, or you're getting offered antidepressants that you're not sure that you need or want to take because they haven't really figured out what's going on. So thyroid is a menopause pretender. Sometimes if you're under a lot of stress, that's a menopause pretender.
Mhm.
Blood sugar
Mm.
fluctuations is a menopause pretender. And let me just speak on that just a little bit.
Okay.
So for women who are having night sweats, they're waking up in the middle of the night. Sometimes it's the same time. Like I hear people say between 2 and 4, I'm waking up, I'm waking up.
Mm. Mhm.
Sometimes it's a blood sugar shift that is causing you to sweat at night. It's not always menopause. So for example, for people who may be having a little wine at night, or maybe somebody who's having something sweet at night, what initially happens is your blood sugar rises, you get the sugar spike, and then in the middle of the night, you're getting a crash in your blood sugar. And so your cortisol has to kick in, which is a stress hormone, to release more sugar into the bloodstream because you're dropping too low. And that entire process wakes you up. It can make you sweat. And so sometimes you're thinking, I'm menopausal, but it may be that you're getting in too much sugar, especially before bed. That's why it's important to look at your
Wow.
own labs to figure out what's going on with you.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've heard more women complain about night sweating and fighting with the
Yes.
covers, kicking their husbands out of bed, doing
Yes.
all kinds of stuff because it's an awful thing when you just feel like you could
Oh
not
my
cool off.
gosh. Yes, yes. And as I told you, I went through the weight loss journey.
Mhm.
I am now going through the perimenopause journey personally.
Oh,
So
that's
I understand. Yeah.
praise the Lord. He
You're
took that
past it?
away. Yes, I have passed it. Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
But I found that I had to adjust some things because I found that caffeine made
Mhm.
everything worse.
Mhm.
Also, not exercising made things worse. I could tell whenever I had either had too much caffeine because that would cause me to again have the night sweats and then not be able to sleep, and also just flashes during the day, which are
Yes.
awful. That's awful.
Absolutely.
It,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And
so
sometimes it
women
is
just
hormones. It is the estrogen, but
uh,
sometimes it's not, especially if you're younger in your 30s and you're
right.
having night sweats. It's probably not menopausal type situation. It may be more diet related, habit related, as you're talking about.
So a lot of women don't understand how hormones really control so many things in the body. Can you talk a little bit about how the hormones work without, getting too technical for us? We just need to understand how they work.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Absolutely. It's really, I've kind of tried to describe it in different ways because I'm working on another book that's nonfiction about all of this. But I
okay.
call it like a kind of like a well orchestrated orchestra, if you will. There's
Hmm.
so many things that are moving at the same time. And for most of our hormones, the levels do fluctuate constantly. And so that's part of the reason why a lot of times your traditional doctor doesn't want to check it because they're like, oh, that's going to be up or down later on. It's also important to note that there are all of these little feedback loops. So your body is
Hmm.
so, again, divinely designed. Like if something
Hmm.
is too high, then
Hmm.
up here in the brain will regulate to shift it down and vice versa. But if we talk about just kind of how the hormones work as far as, a woman and through her reproductive years, and I'm going to talk about kind of women going through the change, what's
Okay.
happening at that stage is that hormone levels are declining. And as the hormone levels decline, that's when you start getting symptoms. So hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, all of that is related to a declining estrogen level. And then, the other hormones, progesterone, testosterone, as they shift, then you can see other symptoms. And so oftentimes what you're feeling is when things are falling away or declining, your body
Hmm.
notices the difference and it's kind of wanting a need for that.
Okay. So either your hormones are going up too far or they're going down too far. Either way, it's
Yeah,
going to cause problems. So
exactly.
So you talk about our bodies are divinely inspired. What led you to that conclusion?
Yeah, so I say your body is divinely designed. First of all,
Mhm.
Janice, because I'm a woman of God, and I
Mhm.
believe that with all my heart. And the beauty about it to me is that I can be a physician and a
Mhm.
scientist, and also acknowledge the greatness of God.
Mhm.
To me, you just cannot deny it. Like even if you
Right.
think about the most tiny particles of matter, like a cell or even an
Mhm.
atom, just the way that, the protons and this part circle around the inside, there's something holding that together. There's something allowing that not to just collapse. And I believe that's, just the spirit of God that allows all of that to happen. And as I learned about functional medicine, it just amazed me, so many natural things that we could do to heal the body that unfortunately is not being taught in traditional medicine. And so
Mhm.
it just blew my mind, and it just merged so perfectly with what I believed anyway.
I know I get frustrated, I think, when I know individuals who just want to go for a pill,
Hmm.
oh, and are gonna be happy with that versus really trying to find the root cause of it and fixing
Yes.
that so that you don't have to take all these pills. So I'm not gonna get on my soapbox about that.
Yeah, I
But
could get
you
right there with you.
right, exactly. Exactly. So, but you did promise us that you had 3 secrets to how to balance out our hormones. So let's start talking about those secrets.
Absolutely. So the first one I like to talk about, I call it the secret weapon hormone. And so I'm
Mm,
talking to women, again, this could be occurring 30s, 40s, and beyond.
okay.
The secret weapon hormone that helps with mood and helps with sleep is actually progesterone. A lot of people don't understand that. So, progesterone helps to balance estrogen.
Mhm.
It's important in the reproductive years in pregnancy because progesterone, it helps to support the pregnancy early on. But in these 30s, 40s, and beyond, progesterone levels start to decline. And progesterone literally works on the brain at the receptor level where it calms the nerves
Okay.
and it helps with sleep. So for so many women that I see who have trouble sleeping, what I see is that they're having an issue with their progesterone. Even women who are having issues with their mood and anxiety. So
Mhm.
one of the things that we say kind of in the functional medicine world, because again, 30s, 40s, and beyond, prescriptions go up for antidepressants,
Mhm.
for anti-anxiety medications, and some people need that, right? And that's
Right.
completely fine if you need it. But for those of us in the functional medicine world, we ask the question, with all of these prescriptions, are people suffering from a Prozac deficiency or is it a progesterone deficiency?
Mm.
And in a lot of
Mhm.
cases, it's a progesterone deficiency. You get
So you talked about that oftentimes it shows up maybe as depression or anxiety,
yes,
and that secret weapon hormone was progesterone, right?
that is right. That is right.
So does our bodies just start going out of it? I mean, as you age, it starts to deplete anyway a little bit, right? Or not?
Yeah,
Estrogen. Okay.
both, all of these
Okay.
hormones. And so your ovaries typically be producing estrogen, progesterone,
Hmm. Hmm.
testosterone. And as those ovaries start to, shrink, shrivel up, however you want,
Die.
atrophy, whatever, die, whatever word we want to use there. As that happens, those hormone levels start declining.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you start to see those differences.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's secret number one. All right. So what's secret number two?
Secret number two is the hormone that can actually help with your metabolism, help you burn fat. And a lot of people don't really think about this. Now, it's not a quick fix, okay? It's not a
Hmm.
weight loss fix, but it can help you in those areas. And that secret hormone is actually testosterone. And
Really?
so, yes. And so a lot of people have some misconceptions about testosterone. So, first off, people mistakenly think women think testosterone is only for men, which is not true.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then a lot of people think testosterone is only about like sexual function, and that's not true either. So, testosterone actually can help. Now, it can help with libido and help enhance orgasm. And we do
Okay.
that a lot for our women. But testosterone also helps with energy, mental clarity, helps you build muscle mass over time so that you can burn fat more efficiently. So sometimes even fatigue can be helped when you get testosterone optimized.
Okay. So I'm just going to keep it real here. Doesn't testosterone make you grow hair in places you really don't want to find it?
That is a great question. And that's one of the myths that I have to debunk for people that,
Thank
like, no,
you.
you're not going to grow a beard or anything like that. Only about 5 to 10% of women will get like a little facial hair or a little
Hmm.
little something, not like a beard, just maybe that, but only 5 to 10%. So most women they tolerate it very well.
Well, but we're gonna do that anyway because I'm not sure. I'm not taking any testosterone, and I have to walk around with tweezers
Right.
all the
Me
time
too. I
anyway.
got to see, get my wax. Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
know. I told my husband that don't let me go out any kind of way. You look close and make sure I get all that. Anyway, I'm digressing here. But
Right.
no, that I never would imagine that testosterone would help with some of that. But I did have a friend that when she went through menopause, she said that she didn't have any symptoms whatsoever. And she said that her doctor said it's because she had a higher level of testosterone.
hmm So the things that you can do to naturally raise your testosterone is, eating a well-balanced diet,
Hmm.
keeping junk out, exercising regularly. That's a big one because exercise helps you create testosterone as well.
Wow, I'm gonna get up and
hmm
work out a little bit.
Yes.
I try to work out. So are there certain types of exercise that tends to make to help?
Yes, strength
Okay.
training, resistance training. So really working your muscles, not the cardio, but anything to
Mm-hmm.
work your muscles. Again, you don't have to have weights, you can just use your body. But the
Mm-hmm.
push-ups, the sit-ups, the squats, the lunges, all of those things.
All that fun stuff, right?
Yes,
And but the
yes.
thing is, all those things you can do without being at a gym. Those are things you can do at
Absolutely.
home.
Absolutely. That
So
is
no
so true.
excuse, huh?
None, none.
No excuse. Okay. Well, okay. So we do have a question from someone in the audience that says, "Hi, Dr. Woods. What about people
Oh.
who have PCOS who suffer with extra testosterone? What can we do who have it?"
That is a great question. So let me define PCOS. And I'm getting a little hot here, Janice. I didn't turn my fan on. I was trying to keep it
Me either.
quiet in the background. I'm like blotting, excuse me. So PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. And whenever
Hmm.
you hear the word syndrome, it's not that we have a diagnosis, it's just we've recognized this collection of symptoms tends to go
Hmm.
together. So we've given
Hmm.
it a name, which is a syndrome. So people
Okay.
with PCOS tend to have irregular periods. They
Hmm.
tend to have, and that can equate to issues with fertility or getting pregnant or having children. They can be insulin resistant. They may be diabetic. Sometimes they're having issues with their weight. They can have excessive testosterone, so they may have
Hmm.
more acne and more facial hair. And so the thing with that is to deal with the insulin resistance. That's probably the biggest piece. And when I say insulin resistance, think about the spectrum to developing diabetes, is what I call it. There's insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, and then diabetes. So insulin resistance is just saying that your body's having trouble keeping blood sugar down. It's having to kick out more insulin. Insulin's job is to keep sugar down. More insulin is required to try to keep the blood sugar under control. That's insulin resistance. And understand insulin is another hormone, and insulin is a fat storing hormone. And so when you're more insulin resistant, that kind of triggers this cycle of PCOS. So the first thing you can do is actually to work on the insulin resistance as far as diet is concerned. Exercise helps with that. And then also, if you have to, let's say if you are having acne breakouts, things like that, there are specific medications that can help reduce that testosterone impact at the skin and the hair follicle. And your physician or a practitioner should be able to help you with that.
Wow. Okay. So hopefully she answered your question. So people come to you because they are dealing with symptoms. Do you actually still deliver babies or anything? Do you do any of that?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't
Okay.
deliver babies anymore. Funny story. I had a friend. This was about, I'm 49. Let me tell you, this is about 5 or 6 years ago. And she's like a year
Mm.
older than me. She said, you still deliver babies? I said, no, who needs a baby delivered? And she was pregnant. One of them kind of oops in the 40s babies. I'm like, no, friend. No, it's not going to be me.
But
I
if a
loved it when
woman,
I did it, but I don't do it
okay,
anymore.
okay, but if she's maybe been dealing with infertility and you can look at her hormones maybe.
I wouldn't say that I would be the first line person.
Okay.
Definitely,
Okay.
if someone is dealing with PCOS and trying
Hmm.
to get a better understanding, root cause solution approach, we can definitely help with that. And what I do, Janice, is I kind of consider myself, well, I am a specialist. So
Uh-huh.
I work along with your primary care doc or your other specialists and things like
Gotcha.
that. We really work hand in hand.
Okay. Okay. So you've told us about the secret weapon hormone with progesterone. You've told us about testosterone. So I want to hear about secret three.
This one is really important, and it's not even probably, what you're thinking about as far as because I did a lot in menopause, so I'm kind of been
Hmm.
relating some things to that.
Hmm.
The other secret hormone that you really need to be aware of is cortisol. Cortisol is
That's
your stress hormone.
that's the fat one, right? That puts fat on you.
It's fat storing also. Yes, absolutely. And so, so many things in our body can manifest in different ways. It's sort of when we think about functional medicine, oftentimes you'll see people depicting a tree because
Hmm.
the idea is that what you feed those roots will manifest,
Hmm.
in a multitude of ways is really the
Hmm.
idea. And so stress on the body, and if I were to give it kind of an analogy this way,
Hmm.
stress in a normal way is helpful for us. So,
Okay.
if a lion is chasing you, you want your stress to kick in. So your heart rate can
Right.
go up and you can run faster, et cetera, to save your life. But if you feel like a lion is chasing you every day, then that becomes problematic if that's how you live your day-to-day life. And what's really interesting about these divine bodies is that your body does not know the difference between an imagined stress and a real stress.
Hmm.
So think about this. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, heart pounding, you're sweating because you were being chased in your dream or you were falling off a
Hmm.
building? Your
Hmm.
body's reacting as if that really happened. So think
Yeah,
about
it
that
is.
on a yeah, right? So think about that on a day-to-day basis. Women are stressed about work and relationships and finance. Like that is stress. And the symptoms of chronic stress can be fatigue, waking up at night, storing belly fat. Like it can manifest itself in a lot of ways. And what we see in functional medicine is oftentimes a very stressful situation can be a trigger to a serious health condition. And so we
Mm.
really need to get a grasp on the effects of stress. And so one of the things I talk to my patients about is that we have to deal with the spiritual, mental, and emotional well being in order to heal.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's part of that divine process. So I talk to my patients, are you praying? Are you meditating? Are you spending time in gratitude? Like that has to be addressed in order to figure this out. And the beginning of my journey was I was stressed out and I had to leave the
Mhm.
stressful job and I had to lose the weight and
Right.
there was things I had to do in order to get some of that stress off of me. But cortisol is a very important hormone that is often overlooked.
Very much so because, as I think about when I'm under stress or whatever, it just seems like the stomach tends to grow, right? And it's
Mhm.
the hardest to get off too.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Wow. I just thought of something I was going to ask you. So when your patients are stressed, do you sing gospel to them?
No, I don't. I try to stay professional, right? So I
Uh-huh.
don't
Uh-huh.
sing, but I do, when I feel that I do pray with my patients though on
Mhm.
occasion. And that's something that's so beautiful for me, just being in my own practice and being free to
Mhm.
do that. So I don't sing, but I kind of jokingly say like, don't ask me because I might actually. I'm not one of those that you got to ask me a bunch of times.
Oh, all right. I'm going to have you go ahead and give us something here.
Oh man.
I love it. So as we talk about, spirituality and our health, how do you see what have you seen in your practice as far as a woman who leans towards her spirituality to help her to be whole?
I see that as a really beautiful thing and a very pivotal piece. And I find a pivotal PIECE and a pivotal PEACE,
Okay.
right? So I
Right.
find that those women have, they seem to be more grounded and they do have a lot more peace as they're going through the trials of life. And even when their health is not how they would like it to be, or they're frustrated with their health, having that spiritual anchoring is so important.
Yes. So let me talk about something people don't like to talk, and that is often what we are eating.
Mm.
Is there something you would recommend that we reduce in our diet or kind of get rid of as much as possible?
That is a great question. That is a great question. And I'm going to say this. I strongly feel that sugar is probably the biggest culprit. And
Mhm.
I honestly, and I'm going to say something that's probably going to be a little bit controversial. First of all, meat is not bad. number one.
Okay.
That may be
Hey.
controversial for some. Number two, I feel like some of these documentaries out there that making
Hmm.
everybody think they need to go vegetarian, I feel like there's a very strong agenda. So a lot of people who go vegetarian, they're thinking they're doing it because they want to get healthy, but I think a lot of times
Hmm.
they're trying to lose weight. And so what I ask patients, Janice, is, are you a vegetarian or are you a carbitarian?
Ooh.
'Cause a lot of
Say,
people, you want to say that one more time?
say it again. That's what I was going to say. That's good.
Are you a vegetarian or are you a carbitarian? Because a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people who tell me they're vegetarian, all they do is eat carbs and
Hmm.
starches, and they're not
Hmm.
really giving their body the nutrition that it needs. So, sugar is inflammatory.
Hmm.
Sugar and your carbs are going to be broken down into sugar. So that's important to note. So the thing that you can cut back on is sugar and carbs. I think those are the things that are manifesting themselves into so many different health issues. Like, think about any health issue, and I will guarantee you one of the leading causes is obesity. If we
Hmm.
dial back and go back to the root cause, it may be sugar or carbs, which are stored as fat if your body doesn't
Hmm.
use it. So if we take the root cause and go back a few steps, I think that's where it is. Another kind of simple thing that maybe people can try, not for everybody, but just intermittent fasting. And you can do that very
Hmm.
simply. That just means to shorten the window in which you eat. A
Okay.
common one is eat for 8 hours and fast for 12, if I'm doing my math right. That doesn't seem
Okay.
16, 8 and 16, sorry. Eat for 8 and fast for 16 is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Um,
So you have breakfast in the morning, lunch, and then you have dinner by a certain time, and then you don't eat anything until the
yeah, let me give
16
you an
hours.
example. So let's
Okay.
say your eating window could be noon to 8. So you'd actually
Okay.
skip breakfast, or
Okay.
11 to 7. So you have an
Hmm.
8-hour eating window and a
Okay.
16-hour window where you don't eat. And I have found people, shout out to a friend who she just intermittent fasted. She wasn't changing her diet,
Hmm.
exercising regularly,
Hmm.
and she was able to lose some weight. So that can work for some people. It's not for everybody, but
Hmm.
that's a simple thing that you can do. Sometimes, just making a simple change, a first step is
Hmm.
important. And I do want to say this: you mentioned diet, but I have to throw in movement too because it's so
Okay.
important.
Hmm.
And just not enough of us are just getting regular physical activity. And I know a lot of us have sedentary jobs, so the
Hmm.
one thing that I did, I'm in my office right now, so I'm literally sitting on a stool, which is sitting on top of a under desk treadmill.
Ah.
So sometimes when I'm talking to patients, I'll just walk on this little treadmill. And I bought a
Aw.
desk that goes up and down, so I got a
Uh-huh.
stand-up
Hmm.
desk. And again, those are simple things I think that a lot of people can add because so many people are working from home now, and these
Hmm.
things are super affordable. I just got mine off of Amazon, so that could be something simple to do just to get your body moving a little bit because they say that sitting is like the new smoking as far as risk factors, and we
Ooh.
know about smoking from our what we did back in the day together, our
Wow.
research on smoking.
Gosh, you have given us so much information. I'm getting some of the comments here. This is so helpful and bringing so much clarity for understanding. Someone says they tried to do the intermittent fasting from 10 to 6. So
Okay.
great idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that a try because usually I'm not real hungry when I wake up in the morning. I'm just thirsty.
Yeah, so that's an easy thing that a lot of people can do is basically you're skipping breakfast. Kind of think of it
Hmm.
that way. And then cutting it off at night because a lot of people are getting those extra calories in at night. When I'm not on track, that's what I'm doing. It's at night.
Right. And breakfast is full of so many carbs. You get eggs, you can do
Yes,
protein, but we can
yes.
usually add toast. We're going to add some potatoes. We're going to add, maybe a bunch of uh,
Oatmeal.
syrup and all kinds of stuff. So that is a great idea. Thank you
Mhm,
so much. So
absolutely.
we're coming to a close. I hate to leave this conversation because it's been so rich and you've given so much information, Dr. Malika, that people don't really think about. And so now there is someone who does this and believes how God designed our bodies to heal themselves and to fix themselves and repair themselves. And and he designed it that way. So why go make take all this man-made stuff when there are some natural bioidentical hormone
Yeah.
replacements that one could do. So as we close out, what is the one thing you really want to? Oh, let me see. We have you want to give them something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of touched on some of these secrets to hormone
Hmm.
balance, but we
Hmm.
also have a guide or a free report where you could kind of dig in a little bit deep. And it's at drwoodswellness.com/guide.
All right. So that is something that they can read, and that kind of gives more information about some of the things you've been talking about, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so make sure you pick that up. It's free. All you gotta do is go there and get and download it, and then you will have her information. Also, I understand you have a Facebook group where you are helping. It's all women, right? Or is it
Yes,
men?
the group is for women. Yes.
Okay. The group is that's the Natural Hormone Fix. So if you go out to Facebook and look for a group called the Natural Hormone Fix, that is Dr. Malaika Woods. So, what is the final thing that you want to leave with our audience today?
A couple of things. The first thought is I want to tell you if you're frustrated in your health journey right now, I want you to be encouraged. First of all, I want to tell you, secondly, it's not all in your head. There really is something going on. You just got to figure out what that root cause is. And I hope you feel a little bit just empowered today, even by the bit of information that we were able to share. And just to remember that your body is divinely designed and has a great capacity to heal.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now we've covered a lot today, but at some point I'm probably going to have you to come back and talk about a few more things because
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
want
we
to
got a
make
lot we can
sure.
cover.
I know. It's like even when we were talking before we did this, it's just we had so many things that we could talk about. But gosh, I wish I would have known you and known about the services you were offering back when I was dealing with Graves' disease because I think it would have really made a big difference. And I might not have maybe had to have my thyroid neutralized, but that's here. That's neither here nor there. But you are helping a lot of people, and I am just so thankful that I can call you my friend.
Thank you so much for having me. And you were such an inspiration to me when I was a young woman. I got to sit kind of underneath you and the other ladies, Val, and I'm forgetting our
Sherry,
third person, Jerry.
Sherry.
Yeah, it was such an encouragement to me to just see beautiful Black women educated doing their thing when I was just a youngin. So I appreciate you.
Ah, love it, love it. Thank you. All right, so I guess we'll get out of here. We have been here for asking for a sister friend, and weekly I invite individuals who are experts in their area, especially mental health and wellness, to share their expertise. So again, that you can have the information that you need in order to live a more whole life. Again, I am a firm believer that people learn from one another just as iron sharpens iron. And Dr. Maleka, you have definitely sharpened my iron on tonight. So I am so grateful for that. So if you are interested in being a guest on Asking for a Sister Friend, again, I invite mental health and health, health and wellness experts just to have a conversation with me to ask for a sister friend. Because oftentimes we don't get a chance to ask the experts. And some of the docs don't have time to spend time with us, but we can ask the experts. All right, so we're going to go ahead and close it out. Thank you again, Dr. Woods, for joining me. And
Absolutely.
everyone, thank you for your questions. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Oh, by the way, next week, we are going to be talking with a decluttering expert to talk about how we can do some spring cleaning. And it might not just be spring cleaning of our homes. It might be some other things we need to declutter so that we can have this abundant life that God promised us. So we're going to go ahead and shut it down. And everyone, I will see you next time right here for Asking for a Sister Friend, 7 p.m. Central Time on Sunday nights. Until next time, everyone, be blessed and bye bye.
Hello, this is Dr. Janice Our Love, and would you like to be my special guest on Asking for a Sister Friend? Then I invite you to visit pearlsperfectedinstitute.com and visit the About page. We'd love to see how you can help a sister friend.